change your view of the world because I'm sure the audience and viewers will be interested to hear what has happened. Peter ratted you out for robbing a hardware store. Why did you laugh, Cole, when you saw fear in Peter Malloch's eyes and when you said that you would beat him? What made you want to beat him senseless later on that day?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it. And anyway, I laughed because it shows that he would do whatever I say, even if he was afraid of me. He could just blackmail me. Anyone who got in my way would face the consequences.
Thanks. Cole, Circle Justice believes that jail hardens people, so they try to reintegrate and rehabilitate those who go through it. When you went through it, Cole, Circle Justice had decided that after weeks of meeting with the community and those who had been affected by your actions, that you should be banished. How did you feel about the decision at the time?
I honestly didn't care because all I ever wanted was to get away from society. When I got to the island, I burned my shelter down because I was furious about people not caring if I was dead or alive.
How do you feel about the decision now, Cole?
I feel really good about the decision because it really changed me. I did not like the way I was before, but now I'm happy with myself.
Spirit bears are an incredibly rare form of black bear that have a coat of white fur. The First Nations honor them as they are told to hold supernatural powers. You attempted to attack the spirit bear that you saw on the island because you said it wasn't scared of you, but you failed without a doubt. You suffered a broken pelvis, ribs, arm, and leg, as well as suffering extensive bite and scratch wounds. This event, along with the storm that hit after the mauling, seemed to change you. What happened out on that island in terms of the way you look at the world?
After I got mauled by the spirit bear, I was laying on the ground all by myself with no one caring if I died. I thought to myself that I had to have meaning in my life in order for me to enjoy it. Then I saw baby sparrows laying on the ground dead. They didn't deserve to die, but I did.
Why did it take such a traumatic event to change your views?
It had changed my views because I hadn't thought of something like that before.
Okay, that's interesting. Cole, you were forced to go back to Minneapolis in order to recover from your injuries. There, you had a lot of time to think a lot about things. I'm sure you had to have thought of about how your dad beat you when you were young, about beating Peter, and about going to the island. If you had to take back one action or moment in your life, what would it be?
The one thing I would take back in my life would be when I beat up Peter. I realize now that it was wrong of me to put him through that. When Peter came to the island, he was petrified of me. Then when he beat me up, I realized more of how much I was sorry. No one should deserve to go through that.
When you were told that you were going back to the island, you were very happy. You went to the island immediately and began building a new shelter because you had burnt down the old one that had been made for you the first time. Edwin and Garvey, the Tlingit elder and your parole officer, told me that you had learned a lot during this time. Going to soak in the frigid pond by your camp and carrying the ancestor rock up a steep hill were examples of this. These rituals, in a way, were a form of meditation. How did they help and what lessons did they teach?
I learned how to be invisible. If I was invisible, the spirit bear would come close to me. When I say invisible, I mean that I'm one with nature. I also learned how to be patient. I also learned to be with the spirit of my ancestors, then rolling my anger away.
Very cool. Very interesting. Back in Minneapolis, Peter was not doing very well. He had speech problems and had twice tried to take his own life. When you heard the news, you recommended that he come to the island for you to teach him all you had learned from living on the island. When you said this to Edwin, he simply laughed, but weeks later, by surprise, Peter came with his whole family. You reacted quite calmly when Peter came to the island, despite the way Peter avoided you and was obviously terrified. How did you feel about Peter coming to the island?
I felt very confident in Peter coming to the island. I had thought that he could help himself deal with his problems, just like I did. But when he got to the island, he was very laid back and he was petrified of me. But I still had hope in him.
Good to hear. The way you showed restraint, Cole, when Peter attacked you shows that you have come a long way in the last few years. We can see that Circle Justice and being on the island has helped you a great deal. But you could have also died. Would you recommend Circle Justice to other youth who have gotten into trouble with the law?
If I had the choice, I would send boys like I was to the island and Circle Justice System. I would send boys like I was to the island and Circle Justice System. I think that it's great, it worked amazing for me, I think it could change a lot of people in a good way.
Cole, what's next for you?
I plan to help boys like I was. I plan to help them control their anger. I will help them how to deal with their problems just like I did on the island.
Alright, Cole, thank you very much.
forget.